one thing that I like about your story is even the small choices started to matter, like what you ate, what you put on your body, the grooming
Mhm.
products.
So we went through Mayo Clinic up in Rochester, Minnesota for my cancer treatment, and they were amazing and still are. I still have two more checkups that I have to clear, and then they'll say I'm cancer free. They don't use the term remission for colon rectal cancer. They'll just say no sign of disease present. And then when it's gone, they'll say you're cancer free. You kind of survive for a while. Like you're just kind of like you get through the chemo. I had my port rejected, so I had to get another port put in. It delayed and lengthened the amount of chemo. I had to heal
Yeah.
from that. I had to do 5 days a week for 5 weeks of radiation. Then I had to heal from that. Then I had the surgery, and then you get a bag on you so that you don't get an infection. So then, you've got your waste coming through a bag, and then you go back in where it's called a takedown, where they tie everything back together. So through that whole process, I mean, it's kind of opposite of what you think. Like they tell you to eat like a giant child. Everything's white bread. Like everything is
Yeah.
bulky, starchy, stay away from fiber stuff, just like all kinds of things that you would think. But then you get to a point in the journey where you're healing. So then it becomes a lot of like mental and physical. And obviously, when you can combine those things together, you do yourself a huge service. I had some people that gave me a little kick in the butt every once in a while, reality check, of like trying to walk. Like one of the biggest things that they say is a factor to not have cancer return is if you walk an hour a day.
Yeah.
But people don't want to hear that because that sounds like you're just trying to make me do something. But that's one thing they can say for sure. The other thing is the least amount of stress you can have in your life
Yeah.
is the greater predictor of not having cancer or having cancer come back. So I remember very clearly, I remember sitting in the office and the nurse practitioner at Mayo was like, you should be in a much better mood that you're in. A lot of people don't have the experience that you've had and the healing that you've had. And I
Yeah.
know you're a person of faith. I know you believe that, God has been answering these prayers, and I know you've done the work somewhat that you need to, and we're obviously gifted here, but like you just seem like something's bothering you, and you should be really happy with these results. And I was like, well, I feel like I'm 75 years old, man. I can't even move stuff around. Like I'm a pretty strong guy, and I don't feel like I can even move something that weighs over 30 pounds without being like, I don't know if I should be doing this or not. And
Yeah.
so she's like, well, how much are you working out? I'm not working out. I'm trying to do the walking that you're saying, but I'm not really working out. So she's like, oh, you need to be like pushing weight around. You need to be, throwing stuff around. And so from the physical part, that's my wife and I talked about it. And there's a trainer here that's amazing in our little community that was trained by a guy that's a strength coordinator for college. Like, he is brilliant. And
Mhm.
this guy's really good too. So we just made the financial investments 5 days a week, 30 minutes a day. And, I started out with like using just bands because I couldn't even lift weights to the point now where it's like pushing some pretty decent weight around and doing, pushing the sled and a lot of different things that, I've just kind of trusted this guy, and he's really good about making it so that, whatever's going to give me the best longevity towards like, your core and just being in good shape, maintaining stuff, not trying to enter any sort of competition or anything like that, but just being in good shape and taking care of my body. The same way with diet. I had thyroid cancer in the middle of that they found. And so started working with an endocrinologist at Mayo on my like how many calories I should have a day and how much protein should be in that, just some of those kind of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just been something I've just kind of been looked at it like an investment. Like I just need to be a good steward. The best that I can do to take care of myself for my
Mhm.
family. My dad died when I was engaged to my wife in 1999 when he was 63 years old. And doctors warned him forever that he needed to change his eating habits and some of those kind of things. And so I've always had to live with like, I'm at peace. Like I know my dad's in heaven. He's not suffering. We had a great relationship, but I am frustrated for the amount of times that we all kind of tried to warn him or like, Dad, like you got to take care of yourself. And he didn't. So I'm not in charge of my time here on earth as far as when my expiration date is, but I want at least my wife and kids to know I did what I could.
Yeah.
I
That's
did I
right.
did my part. I can live with that. So yeah, so then along the way with the beer, it was pretty bad. It's pretty rough. Actually, it's pretty rough today. I feel really embarrassed. I didn't really have time to like brush it out much. I was running out of the house this morning. It was pretty rough. And a buddy of mine that had a beard, he gave me some advice. Then some guys were like, "Oh, it looks kind of neat." And then one of my coworkers, one of the other pastors here, moved here, and he's always had a beard, and he's really good at a lot of different things. And one of those things, he's just a guy that's really good at style. kind of things or
Yeah.
whatever, as well as being a mechanic. He was just like, hey, if you don't mind, like you need to put some like product in your beard. Like you need to like, it's kind of like crazy and out of control. And I was like, well, I don't have the money to like, go get it trimmed and stuff. I'm kind of nervous to do that. So he actually started trimming my beard, and so he actually gave me one of your guys' products because he said the scent he didn't like, but he's like, you need to be using natural products and stuff like that in your application for
Yeah.
for it, and it'll make a big difference, and it's really important. And ironically, at the same time, I started having eczema really bad from the result of all the radiation and just things like that. And so I was already have to switch deodorants to natural deodorants, like shampoo to natural shampoos and stuff like that, because I just like I break out all over my neck and stuff like that. It just in other parts of my body. So I had to go to a dermatologist and start doing that. But I never had a problem once I started using your guys' product on my beard.
Good.
And yeah, and I've kept the beard honestly just because it's a reminder of kind of my journey. So it's
Yeah.
not that like I want people to be like, oh, look at that guy, like he looks cool. Like for me, it's just like I look in the mirror and all this like comes back, kind of a second journey in life, so to
Yeah.
speak. And it's just kind of remembering where I came from and stuff. But yeah, it makes a big difference on the skin stuff. I don't get too into lecturing people about food and stuff like that because I'm probably a hypocrite when it comes to some things like that. But when it comes to the skin thing and it actually like affects you to the point where it's embarrassing to walk out in the morning, or you're all greased up, or you can only use something so many times before it starts thinning your skin.
Yeah.
Like I can't even get straight razored anymore after my beard trims because the skin's so thin, and so it's like you do realize the importance of things like the natural products when you don't have any reaction to it, things do look good. And then it's just budgeting your finances of like, well, I got to have this, and this is what's out here that works. This is what's out here that works that may
Yeah.
be amazing, but I can't afford it. Honestly, like with your guys' product, I think, my buddy that had given me that's what he gave me. Your guys' I think it was Tundra. Yeah, because that's what I still
Yeah.
use. Like I like the aroma of it, and it worked, and it was just like it's feasible, and so like I've just stuck with it.
Yeah.